Welcome to the latest Celtic View podcast, and I'm delighted to be joined on this episode by Caitlin Hayes, who's one of the stars of the Celtic women's team. Caitlin, welcome to the Celtic View podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, I appreciate that you're taking a bit of time out from what is a busy schedule. You've got two games this week, first on the horizon, Spartans, and Wednesday night, so I'm guessing you're right in the midst of preparations for that.
Yes, so we've got our last training session, which will be this afternoon. And then ready to go at Lennoxtown against Spartans on Wednesday.
I mean, you must be delighted. We spoke to Fran Alonso last week. The form the team's been in since the resumption of football after that first game against Glasgow City. 8 games unbeaten. And we're probably, I suppose, a wee bit unlucky not to have taken all 3 points in the last game against City.
Yeah, definitely. It was one of those games where I think I wouldn't be wrong in saying that we could have lost it as easy as we could have won it. So I think looking back, a draw was a great result because obviously our previous results against them haven't been great. So yeah, we'll take the draw, but obviously we want maximum points from the games to come.
Yeah, and I think what I think's been really encouraging is, you know, that first game back, which was always going to be difficult because of the nature of the stop-start season this year, because of the shutdown and the lockdown. I think the team has just grown in confidence, and you can see that in the performances, but also in the results as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like you said, Glasgow City's always been our first game after a fixture, after a lockdown, sorry. So it's been a very different type of game, not really having any momentum, whereas this time we went into it with momentum. And obviously that showed in a result and a performance in terms of we all know each other pretty well now and obviously understand the game plans and everything like that. And yeah, it was good to reap the point, I guess.
And I suppose from, you know, a personal point of view, I'm guessing as a footballer, this has probably been the most challenging time for you. You joined the club in the midst of a lockdown, and they say the season's been a bit stop-start, because all you really want to do as a footballer is train and play.
Oh, yes, definitely. I think as well, I've come to realise that a routine is something that's vital for both performance and just mental state. And obviously with the pandemic that's been going on, that's obviously been taken away from us. So the last couple of weeks has been really good just to get into that routine and to, like I said before, gain momentum, but also have things around that as Glasgow starts to open up and things like that, nice little distractions, but also a focus on things that you know aren't going to be taken away again, like the football side. As they've already said, we've got a third round that's promised to us now, so it's good knowing where we're going and kind of having our eyes fixed on game by game.
Yeah, because I can only imagine how that must have felt the first time you get back training with your teammates. Then the first competitive game, and it must be like, I can't believe this is happening again for us.
Mm-hmm. It was very surreal. I think the first couple of games, the girls will attest that they almost felt like friendlies, because it was almost really difficult to put yourself back in that mindset of competitiveness and the just having the drive. It was almost like you were wary of, is it going to stop again? Are we going to get a whole season? But yeah, just grateful to be back into the swing of things now.
Now, obviously, we've seen on social media, you posted a great picture recently, just the last few days of yourself now in the hoops, but then obviously when you were younger, wearing the Celtic strip, and probably, which I think is really nice, but it must be amazing for you to think, if you could go back and tell your younger self, listen, one day you're going to be playing for Celtic. I mean, that's, I suppose, I guess, a dream come true.
Oh, it's just all of the last couple of weeks, especially since playing at Celtic Park, it was just, I guess sometimes you don't realise how far you've come until you look back and see the journey that you've taken. And it was my dad that sent me that picture of me running around in the Celtic strip, and I was just like, wow, like that is a journey that I've been on. And sometimes is obviously it's the human condition sometimes to not really know or pay attention of where we've come from, because we're all focused on where we are. And yeah, it was a great moment, and just to see the pride in my family's faces as each week I put on the Celtic strip, and it's just
So what is the in terms of the Celtic connection? Is it, obviously it's your family's team. Where's that connection come from?
So my granddad's Irish. So he was very much a Celtic supporter. We are also, we grew up going to Catholic church, Irish connection, and just my dad, that would always be his football team. We can't attest to being mad football fans because we grew up in a rugby league household, and Warrington Wolves were very much our pride and joy. But when it came to football, we were always a Celtic fan club. So yeah, from my dad, definitely.
Now, given that, how good was it to play at Celtic Park and to beat Rangers?
You can't even articulate a sentence which will encapsulate how that moment was, and how it felt. It was definitely, because it was a later game. The whole day was trying to distract yourself, but there was no way to distract the fact that you were playing at Celtic Park tonight against Rangers. And then obviously to take the win as well was just, it was surreal. They captured a photo of me that one of the girls on the team sent, and it just encapsulates the pride and the passion that was felt that night in terms of just raw emotion. And it'll be something I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah, obviously, I think first of all, the fact that the team is playing at Celtic Park is great. But when you're there, you want to make an impression. You win the derby game, and then you were obviously named as player of the match as well. So from a personal point of view, you must have been delighted, because that was one of the toughest games you must have played against a very strong Rangers team.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said on the interviews, I can't win player of the match if those around me don't perform to the same standard, and everybody should have been player of the match that night. I nearly said last night like it was yesterday. Everyone should have won player of the match that night, because we were all just we were all present in the moment, knew the job we had to do, and thankfully everything just went according to plan, and because of that, it will be a memory that I'll never forget.
And I think as well, what's been really good is that you win those games because there's something special at them, but then the team have not allowed themselves to be distracted. We've kept going on this really, really good run in order to get the benefit of that derby win.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The mantra for the season's just been one game at a time. We can listen to everybody talk around us about the league and about Champions League, and of course there's times where we have a quick glance about where we stand currently, but like I said, we just take one game at a time, and as long as each game we reap the 3 points and do the preparation and dedication prior to the game coming, then controlling all we can control is the main thing we can do, and game by game, and then hopefully we look back and think, wow, we did well.
Well, that is almost a seamless link to the point. Anybody would think we might have practiced this beforehand, but taking it game by game, next game on the horizon, Spartans Wednesday night at Lennoxtown. Again, they're always tough opponents, but important that, before the big derby game at the weekend against Rangers, that we focus on the 90 minutes and get another 3 points.
Oh, 100%, 100%. It's important that we continue to respect everybody in our league, but also with that, we can also be confident and not fear anyone, because we are also stand firm in how good we are as a team and controlling what we can control, which is inevitably our performance. And yeah, hopefully we'll get the 3 points from that. But like I said, just Spartans, great team. They'll also have a point to prove because they lost against Rangers. They might come back with a bit of a fight, so we're ready for that, and just focusing on that game Wednesday, and hopefully we do the job that's at hand, and that's the 3 points.
Yeah, and maybe as well, the fact that there's a big game at the weekend, it's maybe a good distraction in terms of your focus, having a midweek game, because then you're not spending the whole week, although obviously you'll be training ahead of the Rangers game, but you've actually got another focus before you turn your attentions to that game.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like how I said before with the Celtic Park game being so late, that whole day was exhausting because you just had all that emotional build up. So it's definitely nice to split the week up into 2 games. So there are positives to it along with the negatives. But yeah, I agree. Just focus, and then obviously it'll be a fast turnaround for Rangers. No time to almost waste energy on getting nervous or the emotions of it, and just stay focused and yeah.
And I think your family, obviously, that given the current restrictions, aren't able to come to the games, have they been able to watch the games from afar and see how well you and the team have done?
Oh yeah, if I do not send my mum a link, I get in a lot of trouble before the games. But yeah, they've definitely loved being a part of the online fan base, and obviously getting to watch on BBC Alba is something that they've enjoyed a lot. Not necessarily enjoyed my post-match interviews, but yeah, they're screaming and shouting Celtic from the north.
Because it must be really nice for them, you know, as you say, your dad finds this picture of you when you were just younger wearing a Celtic shirt, but they'll remember back to you as a child with that enthusiasm and talent for football, and I suppose all the sacrifices they've had to make to take you to training, etc. And now they're seeing that paying off for you in your career.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I like you said, I wouldn't be here without them. And the fact that it is at Celtic Football Club is just, it brings it all full circle. And yeah, just to see the pride that's on their face is great. So yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose like all footballers, we're all hoping that sooner or later they'll actually be able to get to games to actually see you playing, you know, for those 90 minutes wearing the hoops.
Yes, they will be the first ones up here, you best believe. They can't wait to come down. I actually got my dad the away shirt this year. That was the way I told him that I was signing for Celtic. So he wears that during watching BBC Alba, but he can't wait to be able to sit in the stands and wear his Celtic colours with pride.
How did he feel then? Was that, I mean, obviously was that a big surprise for him when you broke the news to him that you were coming to Celtic?
Yeah, they knew it like little bits. They obviously need to know where I'm going, as they wanted me out the house because I was eating them out of house and home during lockdown. But yeah, when I told them, it was a look of relief because they knew the stress I was going through in terms of not knowing where I was going to be. But it was also a moment of just pure joy, and again, a moment that I'll never forget, just knowing that I've made them proud and every sacrifice has been worth it to achieve this dream of playing for Celtic.
Well, listen, I'm sure that they are proud and very impressed, as we all are, with your performances for the team this season. It's been really nice talking to you, Caitlin, and best of luck, not only in the Spartans game, but with the remaining games this season.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me.